Well, the environmental advocate, Durwood Zaelke, joins us now from Washington, D.C. Durwood, thank you very much, as always, for coming on the programme. You'll have seen the conditions that people are having to endure there in Florida, and clearly that area, plus Cuba, no strangers to hurricanes. But are these extreme weather events becoming more frequent and more ferocious?
They are indeed. So just last week, we had a historic event in Canada. So that was Hurricane Fiona. So now we're on to Ian, another perhaps record hurricane in Florida. So when you warm the planet, you're able to put more moisture into the atmosphere. You're able to poke this sleeping lion, this sleeping bear, and you turn it into extreme weather around the world. So we will see more of this, regrettably, unless we slam on the brakes with our climate emissions. So it's not too late to slow down the future warming. It's not too late to keep us from passing other extreme tipping points that'll be perhaps irrevocable with their climate impacts. But it means moving to speed, the need for speed. We must figure out how to cut emissions more quickly. And we must do not just the carbon dioxide emissions, but the non-CO2 short-lived superpollutants, leading with methane. So there's a group that convened this week in Washington, D.C., where I am, focused just on cutting methane. And it's a global effort, and it is going to be the difference between keeping the planet relatively safe and letting these extreme events take over.
How well do you think that message is being put across to the general American public? Because much of Florida is next to the water, would be in severe danger of flooding if the oceans keep on rising. Do you think people are actually aware of the dangers, as they may well be somewhere like the Cayman Islands?
Well, people in the United States are getting pretty up to speed on climate. Their political leaders are lagging behind, especially on the conservative Republican side. But one of the super climate pollutants, which are called HFC refrigerants used in air conditioning and cooling equipment, are being taken out with the Kigali Amendment to the Montreal Protocol. And that treaty was ratified last week by the United States Senate with a 2/3 majority, which is required for ratification of a treaty, which meant that 19 Republican senators had to vote yes to give their approval for ratification. So there is now some scope for even stronger and faster mitigation. And of course, the slowing the sea level rise is critical for Florida. Florida will disappear. So if we breach the 1.5 degrees Celsius barrier, which the Paris Agreement set as the critical boundary for future warming, Florida literally risked disappearing as we lose the Greenland ice sheet. That's several meters of sea level rise. Then we could lose the West Antarctic ice sheet as well, several more meters of sea level rise. Florida is gone. So, the conservatives in Florida, and there are quite a few, need to pay more attention for their own survival. This is no longer just a political battle between the right and the left, Democrats and the Republicans. This is a question of the survival for everyone, not just in the United States, but the world.
And you would think an event like Hurricane Ian would get their attention. Durwood, thank you very much indeed for joining us, as always, on the News Hour.
My pleasure.